5:32, we're calling the session of the Calexico City Council, Calexico Redevelopment Successor
Recording in
Agency,
progress.
Calexico Financing Authority Special Meeting Agenda to order. Ms. Garcia, if you could lead us with roll call.
Mayor Ureña,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Romo,
Here.
Councilmember Garcia,
Here.
Councilmember Manzanares,
Here.
Councilmember Moreno.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mayor.
Thank you. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Manzanares, can you lead us in the pledge?
Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we briefly bow our heads in the presence of our Creator, whatever name you may take for Him. We ask for mercy on this council, to the city, to everything that is going on in the city of Calexico. We ask for your blessing, dear Creator. We ask for peace and quiet judgment to make the best decisions for a city today, even on a small agenda. Amen. We will now be entertaining motions to approve the agenda.
So move.
So moved by Vice Mayor Romo, second by Mr. Garcia. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Public comments and public appearances. This is a time for the public to address the City Council on the special agenda items only. The mayor will recognize you, and when you come to the microphone, please state your name and place of residence for the record. While members of the public are encouraged to participate, it is unlawful to disturb or delay the council meeting with personal or slanderous remarks. The City Council is prohibited by state law from taking action or discussing items not included on the printed agenda. Please direct your questions and comments to the City Council. We do have one written comment on consent agenda item number 3. I will go ahead and read that one out loud right now. This comment comes from Ms. Mayra Cano Rodriguez, 702 Ethel Street. It says, our city has had many issues that need financial help. Public safety, our parks on the west side, fire station, crime, fires, and arson. Your city manager says that we need to be careful on spending and liability to the city. The city should not be in the business of social services and playing politics on the border. If we have a migrant problem, in which we don't, please get the churches involved and other charities. We all know that mayor and other council members are involved in a group called Imperial Valley Equity and Justice Coalition. Is our city manager using these funds to benefit a couple of council members? That is illegal. Please, Ms. City Manager, don't use our public funds to benefit a couple of council members and their friends. We all know you're giving them $200,000 of government funds to help them with new offices. Stop this nonsense and help our people of Calexico first, and your public service employees do their job. So this coalition are immigration experts. Do they have a business license or an office? Do you keep track of these grants? Sincerely, Ms. Mayra Cano. Any other comments online or participation slips in person? None seen. Now we'll be moving on to the consent agenda. I'll be taking motions for the consent agenda.
So move.
So moved to approve by Vice Mayor Romo. Is there a second?
Second.
I would like to pull the number 3 for discussion.
Sure. Is there, well, a motion's already on the floor to remove, we would have to take this motion first. We would have to make a motion to remove something from the consent agenda. Motion and a second by Mr. Manzanares. All of those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Not until we pull.
We're taking her motion first. She made her motion first. There's an abstention. That's 4 in favor and 1 abstention. Consent agenda is approved. Okay.
Does he want to make a motion now?
Well,
For the item number 3? I think that's what he's alluding to.
yes,
But we'll make the motion.
So I would like to pull item number 3 for
okay.
discussion.
There's a motion to pull item number 3 for discussion. Is there a second?
I'll go ahead, because I got something to say too.
Oh, sounds
I'll
good.
go and second it. I don't know if it's gonna pass, but I'll second it.
Okay, sounds good. Calling a vote, I'll go ahead and vote yes. Ms. Romo?
For discussion, for what?
For discussion.
Oh,
To
the
to allow,
number
Number
three?
three.
to allow discussion. It's already been approved, but we can
Yeah.
Okay,
allow
for
discussion.
discussion, no problem for me.
Yes? Yes?
Yes.
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 That's a 5-0 motion allowing discussion on item number 3.
Thank you, Mayor.
Of course.
Seconded, I'm sorry, who seconded?
I believe it was Mr. Moreno.
Mr. Garcia, motion?
Motion, I'm second.
Seconded by
Yes. Go ahead.
For discussion number 3?
Yes. No, go ahead.
Thank you. I just want to bring to the attention that this is a request, and I believe it's come from you, Mr. Ureña,
Yes.
this letter. So I will be relying also on background on that, as to how this came about, because I do believe that, yes, we're asking for this $2 million to address this needs that we're having, or even the construction of the assessment center, excuse me. But I think, based on what we have gotten, lately, and not just lately, but throughout the last few years that we have been here, I think if we were to ask, or we want to ask for this type of monies from our legislators, I think it should be for the city of Calexico, for the benefit of the city of Calexico, because building capacity for a center where we will be receiving asylum seekers, I don't think that will go directly to benefit the citizens of Calexico. I know that we have a lot of needs. For the last few weeks, we have been listening to the concerns and the needs, including just last week, just a few days ago, a couple of days ago, from the fire chief. We need new fire engines, we need new infrastructure, streets. I think it will be better off if we were to ask, for these type of monies to be invested in the city, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's downtown. Why? Because this will create investment. This will create even potential jobs for our people. But on this one, it doesn't do that. I know it's a human, cause, and I empathize with that. But I got to take care of the house first, as I said it before. Even when we voted to, set aside, $200,000 from ARPA. So that's why I think, we need to be very careful as to the ask that we're asking our senators, our legislators, because I think we're wasting our opportunity. I think this is one way that we're cashing a golden ticket, and I don't think we should cash it this way. I don't think we should be, or this should be the piece of the pie that we have been asking. I think this money should go into the benefit of the city rather than just one project. And the other thing, as the saying goes, if you build it, they will come. So I would prefer if we hold on this and ask the people. And in fact, we already asked the population. A few years back, if you remember, we had the strategic planning. And people said that, they wanted more investment into fire, into PD, into library. And that's how, originally the ARPA allocation went about. That's how that came out. But now we're looking at asking for $2 million. So, I just don't agree with this. I think we need to go back to the people, or even just be very careful. So those are my remarks, and I'm not in support of this.
Thank you, council member. And just to answer your question very briefly, we have been obviously in an emergency crisis with the migrant situation. Not on this agenda is not the only request that we're making to the state. We're also making a request of $5 million for parks, in the form of a grant. And while this is the first request that we're making, definitely we have an unlimited amount of attempts to address the many needs that our city has. Budget season has been open since early March. Senator Padilla's office has been asking us as a council for many months now to generate requests. Myself and Ms. Colio are generating requests for the Farm Worker Service Center. I think something around Cesar Chavez Transportation, State Route 98, State Route 111. So we are generating those requests, and you absolutely have an opportunity as well. If you see a need that we can request from our state legislator, put it in writing, get it to City Manager Colio, and we'll put it here so we can also make that request. And I do believe there's a sense of urgency because Ms. Colio has indicated, and emails came in from the federal government today, indicating that they were not only going to double but triple the amount of migrants that are going to be coming into the city.
So on that note, Mayor, thank you. Look, I'm in support of this letter. I mean, the only thing I like to say, and I agree to, I second it when I wanted to do discussion, is this, okay? In past administrations, I think Calexico has been, and as noted with the audit we got as far as transparency, Calexico has never been transparent. I'm in support of this and anything money that comes down because we don't, especially with Title 42 is going to be lifted in this May. So we need to be prepared for that. And how do we do that? Is by monies and then reaching out to the communities. The only thing I would like to see is similar like what you've done, Mayor, is have a town hall meeting. We invite the public, have the public input, have them what they got to say about this, invite the stakeholders. Also, what I'd like to see is if it's going to create a healthcare crisis, where is Heffernan on this? They have not been here one time to address this thing since when. I've always been very, very critical of them because they're sitting $5 million over there, and if it comes to health crisis, they're the ones who receive money from us, and why they're not involved. I'd like to see them here and see what their plan is, how they're going to address this. Also, all the nonprofits in Calexico, we got Dr. Ball, Dr. Tizan, Dr. Quelada, Calexico Wellness Center, all of them out there. I'd like to have them come out here and look at their input, right? Because they're the experts. And also the nonprofit organizations. And we know who they are. I can name a few. Brown Bag Coalition, Ivy Justice Coalition, all those people out there, Calexico Need Change, all of them. We don't have them here. And also the regular folks, which I think it's also, they have hearsay on this. So I think a town hall meeting on that address the how we're going to go about this. Especially we're going to mitigate some of those instances. So we're being transparent. The money's going to be allocated, and therefore we have a plan how we're going to manage that. Who's going to be the fiscal responsible for that? Who's going to manage all that? We need a plan, a business plan, and I know that's going to happen eventually. So that's all I've got to say.
Would you like, since we're going to have a town hall meeting on May 2nd, definitely we'll put on the town hall meeting the topic of state budget requests in general. What does the community want to see from the state budget? Are you saying we should have a separate town hall on state budget requests or a separate town hall on the migrant issue? Or
On this particular issue.
on this particular issue? Okay.
Right, because
No-
I'm going to tell you something, based on my training and experience, once Title 42 is lifted,
Oh, yes, it's going to be
it's
intense.
going to huge impact. And some of these migrants are going to come with healthcare issues.
Mhm.
So where are the experts on that? We have here in the audience a doctor. Well, I've just been speaking to her before the meeting, how this crisis is going to affect us. So obviously we're in support, but let's do it the right way, right? Being transparent.
Of course.
That's all I got to say. Thank you.
If I just, if we can, I just don't like the city to be involved. If the ask should, it's done, it should be by the nonprofits, like Councilman Moreno is saying, nonprofits, NGOs, CBOs, because those are the ones that have the knowledge, but the city shouldn't be involved. As it is, the city has just way too many things to address. So maybe in this town hall, invite and let them be the ones that lead the charge. Why? Because maybe it's even better. Because for us to go through a process, you know how cumbersome that can be. Maybe for nonprofits it's not. Maybe private sector can get involved also. I know we can't really tell private sector what to do, but we know when it comes to executing, private sector and maybe even nonprofits have a less of a cumbersome process. So that's why I also would prefer if this is led, hopefully it's led by nonprofits and NGOs and maybe even private sector, but not the city.
Mr. Garcia, you say nonprofits plural. How many nonprofits are in Calexico?
Well, again, even if they're not in Calexico, but whether it's Catholic Charities, whether it's Brown Bag Coalition, whoever is there, right? It's on us to call them out and say, do you want to help?
I do think they've been very involved in advocacy, and they've been very grateful for the city's support. If we do it together, I mean, we seem to be more effective. There's no particular reason why the city needs to abstain itself. If anything, it's a big concerning issue to say, if we don't address this together, there will be more homeless people on the streets. So it's in our best interest to, in some way, advocate in a way that it doesn't cost us to address the issue. Even if it's just lending a simple letter of support to Senator Padilla.
Yes, but it seems to me that we're taking the lead. I mean, and I would like that the nonprofits and the NGOs and like I said, maybe even private sector, from experience, things are done faster.
The private sector is the one that's like throwing them on the streets, though.
Well, and I'm just going by what Mr. Moreno is talking about, right? So, and who knows? I mean, we haven't asked.
Nonprofit organizations have been dealing with this for months now. So let me say something. When we say that we shouldn't get involved, we've been involved. The asylum crisis is due because of our international policies from the USA. I'm going to say something, and even though it might hurt some people, it's the truth. I'm a little bit of a historian, so I'm going to give a little history lesson. During the El Salvadorian Civil War, the United States spent billions of dollars funding and supporting right-wing extremist governments in El Salvador, who were using death squads to kill and assassinate and kidnap political opponents. Many of those opponents fled the country, rightfully so, as anybody would do if your life is in danger, and they came to the United States for safety, asking for asylum. When they reached the USA, they found out that we don't want them here. And we made it a process that's extremely difficult for these people to seek asylum, which continues to this day. In one particular case, an activist and organizer from El Salvador in 1981 came, and he was assigned to the detention center in El Centro, the one that recently closed in 2014. He was denied asylum, and he went back to El Salvador. Within 2 months, he was found decapitated in his home country. So we have been involved because this is partially the fault of our country's international policies. This is the least that we can do to start alleviating and helping some of these people get to the destinations where they need to go, right? We've already established that a lot of these people don't want to be in our streets. A lot of these people don't want to be in our city. They want to leave to where they have relatives, right? So this $2 million, let's say we just go with just using nonprofits. How many people are in the Brown Bag Coalition? 1, 2, right? When we start seeing hundreds, and if you read the staff report, it says that the federal government already gave us notice that they're going to start releasing up to 180 people a day. Brown Bag Coalition is not prepared to deal with this.
How many people do we have on staff?
That's why this money is for. $2 million. If we don't
How many
do
people do we have in
absolutely
parks,
anything-
Mr. Manzanares?
I'm sorry?
How many people do we have working in parks, tending to our needs?
Exactly. But this is Senator Padilla's request, right? You said you were friends with Senator Padilla. Didn't you have to work with him about this crisis? Or he didn't let you know about that he was going to go and ask $2 million for us?
No, this is the first time that I see it. Just yesterday I got it.
Just to make clear, this is Senator Padilla's request to the state budget, right? Calexico didn't go and ask for this $2 million, right? We are asking for $5 million, right? As it's also in the consent agenda, people kind of also like to see item number, what is it, number two? So it's not like we're just doing this and that's all we're doing. There is also item number 2, $5 million in grant application for parks to finish the parks that specifically Heber Park. So although it seems like this is like the attention that it's getting, it's overlooking the things that we're also doing, which is like $5 million to finish parks that we need, right? So I support Senator Padilla's request because if this $2 million allows us to build capacity to deal with this situation, along to support nonprofit organizations, then why wouldn't we? Because also our nonprofits here in the Valley are extremely understaffed. They're also not equipped to deal with the situation. And if this $2 million allows them to build capacity and deal with the situation when time comes, then I'm all for it.
Sounds good. I think any other remarks on this particular item?
No, I go back, just to reiterate what I said. It's not that I'm against it, it's just that I think this ask, I think it should be more for the benefit of the citizens of Calexico. And I won't stop repeating that. And I don't think this goes to that. If Senator Padilla, I appreciate, what he's doing, but I think, there has to be another coalition that leads this effort, but not the city. Thank you. And I understand, Mr. Manzanares, your points and your historical remarks. But again, those are also, you said it, policies that are federal level. So we need to engage those people at that level too. We can't solve, issues at the federal level or global level. And don't get me wrong, it's not that I'm against, all this humanitarian effort, but it's just that, our approach is misguided. Thank you.
One more thing. This is for Ms. Scolio. Ms. Scolio, hypothetically speaking, the money is approved, and then the city collector receives it, right?
Yes, we're not even sure. We
You're
we just received a letter
Okay.
and the request for a letter of support
Right.
because he's put it in the budget. It could be that the money will come to the city or the money will go to the nonprofit organizations.
Right.
The effort is towards the migrants on the border.
Right.
But it might be that we're not receiving the money directly.
No,
It
that's
could be
fine.
that
I'm
they
just-
go somewhere else.
I understand the
Yes.
process. I just want to make sure because
Yeah.
Yes,
it's an
one
issue-
thing that
it's not
I-
an issue, but we need to be clarified on that.
Yes,
That's all it is.
so we don't know at this point
Exactly.
if this funding will come to the city
Right.
directly or to a nonprofit organization. It could be that it comes to the cities with the stipulation that says you need to subcontract with all the nonprofit organizations so they can do the work. We don't know that.
Right.
We don't know the parameters. It's just a support for them to allocate the funding. That's
Yeah,
it.
so to allude, because I think that's a misunderstanding here, it's not, he didn't write the letter. We're not asking for the money.
No,
That's
we
what I'm
received the
saying.
letter,
Just
yes.
supporting the center in his,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Because, okay, that's
That
all
is
I want.
correct.
All right. I'm clear with that.
Okay, sounds good. Council members, before we ask for a motion to adjourn, big thank you to Ms. Palomir and your heroic effort. We've already voted. Yeah, we've already voted.
just discussion,
It was just separate discussion after the vote.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Just a heroic thank you, Ms. Palomir, for preparing this application for Clean California. With that, any motions to adjourn?
Thank you, Ms. Palomar.
So moved.
Thank you.
Can I motion
So moved by
to
Mr.
adjourn?
Garcia, second by Mr. Moreno. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye? Aye?
Yes, aye.
That's 5-0. This meeting is adjourned at 5:56 PM.